Ladies, gentlemen, welcome. It's Concept Soup, where we like to do our little PC thing, a little technology thing. Today, finally, got my hands on the Fractal Torrent case. After long last, getting to build in this case that's got rave reviews online. Let's see how it gets on with our standard PC building fare today. We're going for a nice high-end system, 5800X, RTX 3080, all this good stuff, but the specs will be coming up. We're going to be going through the build. We're going to be going through what the case is like. We're going to be going through my opinions on how the build went. Would I recommend this case? But before all that, we've got to pay the bills. We've got to pay the bills, which means a sponsor. Today's sponsor, as always, JCPCcustoms.com. Purveyors of fine gaming PCs, focusing not on bottom basement prices, but on good, balanced quality spec that's going to last. 3 ways to get a gaming PC. Method 1 is ready-to-go PCs. These are built already. There's no wait time. They will ship the same day or the next day. Very nice, high-quality machines, balanced the way I like them, basically. We've also got configurator listings. That is method 2. This is where you pick from a list of parts for each component. We spec it up, build it over the sort of 7 to 10 days, ship it out to you, or you can collect it, obviously. And then that's another way. You get a bit more control that way. If you want the maximum control, you can submit a custom spec request, which is method 3. Filling out the Google form with the custom spec request, you can put in every part that you want, including any soft tube water cooling that you want as well. This can all be done. Then we'll send you a quotation and we'll build it up from there. If maybe oh, I want this motherboard, I want this memory, I want this RAM, but can you suggest the, other stuff? You just put question mark, we'll suggest something nice. It's a very easy order process. JCPCcustoms.com, check it out. We've also got some graphics cards. Prices are pretty high, not gonna lie. So, if you can wait. If you can't, we've got them at prices that are going to be cheaper than places like Overclockers. So there it is. Sponsor spot over. Okay, so today, PC build, high-end stuff. And in the Fractal Torrent, this is a case that is built. I say built for air cooling. So that is what we're doing. We're not liquid cooling. No liquid cooling in this one. It's all air cooling because that is what the Torrent is all about. We're also going for no RGB. We don't need RGB. This is a grown-up, sophisticated Scandinavian PC. All right? So, CPU. From the tray, it's the Ryzen 7 5800X, 8-core, 16-thread. Nice CPU, this. This is the ideal gaming CPU. If you're going to get any gaming CPU, this is the one you want. It's fantastic. All 8 cores, single CCD, so low latency, super fast. Very, very happy with it indeed. And hot off the presses, this is also pretty new. It's the Deepcool AK620 air cooler, tower cooler type thing for the CPU. Looking pretty sweet. We'll be checking that out later. Crucial Ballistics RAM. I think we've got 16 gigs of DDR4 3600 CL16. Pretty nice to bump it up to 32 if you can. Motherboard, Gigabyte Aorus B550 Elite AX V2, so Wi-Fi built in. V2 means it's got the USB-C internal connector. Pretty nice board all round, got that on a pretty nice deal. Next up, storage. Crucial P5, 1TB NVMe SSD, fast up to I think 3.4 gig read speeds, close to that with write. It's got DRAM as well, nice drive. Asus TUF 3080, nice graphics card this, really good, stays really cool, looks great. Great quality all round, very nice graphics card. Corsair RM850 PSU, that is real nice. This is like an industry standard for high-end build. RM850 all the time. This or a Fractal Ion is pretty good. We've got a Wi-Fi card. This is the Tero. It's got an Intel AX200 chip in it, so it's Wi-Fi 6. My idiot brain did not realize, though, that it's already built on the board, so we don't use that. We've got some Shack Mods extension cables as well for the build today. We're going for full grey. That's to match the grey theme of the Fractal Torrent case that we have in the background. So there we go. That's our parts. You know what we do now? We like to build it up, but because we're looking at the case today, let's take a little tour of the case, see what's going on. Okay, so I suppose the first thing we need to do is actually just shell the case. So take off all the parts, so that we can actually access the interior. So to do that, we release the 2 screws on the back, and then sort of this hood piece just sort of slides right off. Then to remove the glass, we simply have a little toggle in the top, which we can release just by pulling that tab, and then the whole glass piece will just come straight off. And inside we can now see those 2 giant 180mm and 3 140mm fans that come pre-installed. This is the non-RGB version because we're going for a non-RGB build today, but they also do have the RGB version, which looks pretty dang nice. So on the rear there's also glass. I'm not sure I particularly like that, but again, just the tab on the side, pulls it down, off it comes, nice and easy. So we've got a load of pre-routed cables there already. Now you see in the bottom left of the screen there, or of the video, there is a fan hub down there. Now this fan hub actually caused a bit of a problem before. Apparently there's a chance that there's some kind of electrical short in it. So we're actually going to remove that fan hub and put in the replacement kit that Fractal send out with this case now. Okay, so you just literally unscrew it through those 3 holes that you see in the chassis there, replace the new one in, and you're good to go. And it's quite handy having that fan hub there because there are quite a lot of fans in this case. But you can see here, from like looking at the rear of the PC here, you can see there's loads of room for 2.5-inch drives there on the left hand side. I think we've got 4 mounts there. We've also got 2 3.5-inch mounts as well, so there's loads of storage space. The cable routing, looks like there's plenty of room in there, so we've got lots of cable tie down points. We've got grommets, you know, scattered around in places. We've got some holes along the bottom for feeding through the, you know, those little connectors that you put on the bottom of the motherboard. Overall, looks like it's going to be a pretty nice design. The power supply mounts at the top in this case, so you need to make sure that the fan is facing the inside of the PC. So that makes it slightly different, makes it quite top heavy. So be careful when you're handling it. But I think this is going to be a fun one. So rotating the PC around to the front, you can see this really cool sort of angular design, which does look really good. I don't know if it enhances the airflow or not, but it looks pretty boss, very unique. So what we do is just pull off that front piece, just so we can reveal those 2 massive fans, and they look pretty chunky indeed. Plenty of airflow going to be coming through those. And then I think there's also a dust filter on there as well, which you can remove. And it just helps you sort of clean it and stuff, doesn't it? And then we're just going to clip that front piece back on, and then we can move on to the next part. So in terms of space on the interior of this case, yeah, this case is absolutely massive. It's absolutely huge. You fit any component in here, no problem. So you've got ATX motherboard support. I think there's also extended ATX support in this case as well. So you can put like pretty much any motherboard in here. You've got so much room for a graphics card. I don't think there's a graphics card long enough to obscure all this space, so any graphics card is going to work in here. You just got so much space. There's no way you're going to run out of space in here. I think this case is built for air cooling though. I think liquid cooling in this case kind of defeats the point, because it comes with all these fans pre-installed. So in order to put a liquid cooler on the front, which is really the only viable place to put an all-in-one liquid cooler on this, you'd have to remove those 2 giant front fans and put a radiator on the front, which kind of defeats the point of having those giant fans in the first place. Not to say you can't do it. Maybe a nice 280mm on the front would look pretty nice. I think you might even be able to get a 420 on the front, not sure, but certainly a 280 that would look pretty nice. It's not quite the the look that this case is supposed to be. It's supposed to be an air cooling case, at least in my opinion. I'm thinking about custom liquid cooling in this case. I think it might be a bit of a challenge. It's just with custom liquid cooling, it's always nice to have a top mount for your radiator as well, so it gives you that extra option. Trying to find the enough space to put the the pump reservoir combo, that kind of thing. It might be a bit tough in this case, despite its size. It's not. I don't think this is a case that's particularly water cooling designed, as in custom water cooling. It will certainly do it. It's just I don't know if there might be some better options out there for you. But if you're very determined to do it, then go ahead. There will be enough room. You just have to be quite creative with it. But yeah, I'm quite happy with it overall. It's very, very perforated at the back, which is going to help with that airflow. It doesn't come with a rear fan, so you will have to buy one of those yourself. So my overall impressions of the case so far, it's very well designed. It is very well designed. There's stuff laid out in very nice locations. Organization features are very well thought through. The airflow is going to, I already know the airflow is going to be amazing in this case, given the amount of fans we have and the perforations in the case. We're not going to have any problems with temperatures, I don't think. But for me, the design, it's just not my style. It's just, for me, it's a little bit too chunky. And that I go for more of a refined, smooth look with the PCs that I try to do. Whereas this is more of a bold, boom, here it is, Scandinavian sort of thing. But in the right setup, this would look absolutely beautiful. If you've got like a nice, pure, like hardwood desk, you've got a nice grey paint on the wall, you've got nice setup with black peripherals, I think this would look really good. It's just that for the particular style that I tend to go for, it's not exactly what I like. And the case is very big as well, which if I'm selling it, it does make the shipping a bit more expensive. So another thing to think about there. But yeah, overall, I'm impressed with the functionality of it. I think it's going to work really, really well. So with that said, let's get into the build montage, and then we'll have a little chat afterwards about the build process, how everything went, and a few test results as well. See you there. So there is the finished piece. And what did we think? Did we like this? Did we dislike this? Comment down below. This was, it's always nice to use a new case. Something refreshing, because I do use quite a lot of the same cases in a lot of my builds just because they're very popular, and frankly because they're really good. Like I find that 4000D airflow, TD500 mesh, P360A, P400A, these are all just bread and butter cases because they're so good, reasonably priced. Fractal Torrent, something completely different. It's a very niche case, quite expensive, but it is unique, and you'll probably be the only one of your friends that has this case. Overall, as I said earlier, the design it's bold. It's very bold. It's quite chunky. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just not personally my style. As I said earlier, on the right desk with a hardwood desk, with a nice grey paint on the wall with some grey peripherals, this would look absolutely beautiful. It's just that for the way I tend to do my setups, it's not exactly the same. Performance, very, very good, as expected. My gosh, so those giant fans, I know we've got a tough 3080, which is a good 3080, but my gosh, those fans provided it with so much cool air. It's no wonder it had really, really good temperatures. CPU-wise, it's Ryzen, right? So Ryzens always tend to get a bit toasty. The Ryzen 7s, Ryzen 9s always tend to get a bit toasty, even with very, very good cooling. So it's no surprise that you're getting towards the 80s here on the CPU, because they will just continually boost until they hit those sort of 80 to 85 degree temperatures. So it's nothing to worry about in the slightest. I think this air cooler looks really nice for this build, and I think it performs very, very well. You're sort of hitting that Noctua level of performance. Not quite as good as the Noctua NHD 15, but it is a bit smaller. But I think it's a good choice. It's about £50, this cooler. So I think it's a nice choice if you like the look of it. Personally, like if it was my build, I'd probably be using a different case and I would use a liquid cooler. But in this exact scenario, I think it looks good. I think it fits the theme. So that Deepcool AK620, it's good. It's not going to set the world on fire, but again, it's not trying to. It's coming in at that sort of moderate price point, so I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I like that they've changed their branding a little bit. Deepcool's logo looks a bit more clean now, so I was happy with that. Overall, look was nice. I really did enjoy putting this one together. It's always nice to use a new case. Gaming, it's a 3080 and a 5800X, guys. Come on, it's going to be good. Like, you don't need the benchmarks for me to tell you it's good. Like, there's nothing that this case is going to do that's going to give you a significant boost in FPS compared to another good airflow case. So really, it's mainly about personal preference. What is really good about this case, if you're a content creator or someone like that, there's so much room for extra storage, and that's something that you might want to consider as well. It is expensive case, about 160, 170 quid, so that's also another thing you want to consider. It's got that cable management on the back as well, so you can tie your power supply cable into that. That's pretty nice. So it's got little sort of niche features like that. I think overall, if you like the look of the case, you're going to love the functionality. It's just, I think it might be a bit divisive in terms of how it looks. This case has been very, very well reviewed in general, and people everywhere seem to love it. And actually, in terms of performance, I completely understand that, because it is a very, very high performance case. But I personally think that there are cases for half the price which will do 95% as good job with the cooling and look better. So I wouldn't actually recommend you buy this case unless it's something you very specifically want. My perfect case at the moment is the Cooler Master TD500 Mesh. Looks good, excellent performance, and you've got RGB included. So that's kind of my pick at the moment. But this is about the Fractal Torrent, so yeah. That's the end of the video. Please like and subscribe to all that good stuff. I want to see a comment below. Visit jcpccustoms.com if you want to buy this PC, or indeed any other gaming PCs that we have. I'll catch you in the next video. Laters!